can do, you help me out, that would be fine. I said, okay. So he went to his car, he went home. He wrote the check, but he wrote the check back home. But I think he's gonna come with the check, I can tell him.
And so I, whoa, what's going on here, guys? And the money, and previous to that, I had talked to requesting the checks, and then he didn't say anything, he drove off. So, and he said,
it doesn't look good when I can.
On February 28th, 2025, detectives with the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office in Florida questioned 51-year-old Evans Paul, a volunteer Grand Knight of a local Knights of Columbus council. Paul stood accused of forging a $10,000 scholarship check and depositing it into his own bank account. The money came from a Catholic parish fund built on community donations meant for children, not personal use. The fund's trustee, Robert, discovered $20,000 missing from the scholarship account. Paul claimed the money had gone to Cardinal Newman, yet urged the trustee not to verify with the school, which raised suspicion. Days later, the trustee found one check for $10,000 had already cleared, with Paul's name written above the payee line and endorsed on the back. The parish reported it, and a fraud investigation began. Paul's defense was that the treasurer, Ed, handed him the pen and told him to sign above the payee falsu. He could deposit the funds and pay the families online. He insisted his only goal. Nerd's goal was delivering overdue scholarships. Before any questioning, the detective read Paul his Miranda rights. Under the Fifth Amendment, no person can be compelled to be a witness against himself, and custodial interrogation requires that warning be given first.
All right, Mr. Robert, can you please tell me what's your role? And
my role at the time of the event is I was, when our council listed as one of the trustees, and also the head of the Cardinal Newman Scholarship Education Fund, the fundraiser group in our council.
And can you please tell me how you know Evans Paul?
From church, and as well as he's been a member of our council for several years, and in years past I was the Grand Knight of the council as well, and he had been an officer in past years. I don't remember which role, whether it was chancellor or something along those lines, but he did have a role at one point in time.
And how long have you known him?
Probably, I'd say at least more than 5 years.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
Just either from church just seeing him in church over the years. It's probably more than that.
And after he was appointed, what happened? What occurred for you? What discrepancy that you noticed at?
In our getting ready for the school year, in our August meeting, everything's fine. We had stuff. We were trying to get the money to set the kids who won the scholarship. We want to get that set up. In the September meeting, which was September 9th, I believe. I think it was September 9th. During the meeting, we had the passing out of the treasurer's report and the report of the scholarship fund, and I noticed that there was $20,000 gone. And so I, whoa, what's going on here, guys? And the money, and previous to that, I had requested the two $2,500 checks. So when the September meeting came and what happened here? Where's this money? And checks were given to Evans, and it was given to Cardinal Newman. And so in the meeting, he said that he had already given the checks to Cardinal Newman.
And when you say he, who's that?
Evans Paul. He said he gave checks to Cardinal Newman.
Okay.
As the meeting went on, other things, questioning some things, and then I said, well, I know that people at Cardinal Newman, treasurer, I will go and ask them to refund us back the other money. And I was talking to Evans at the end of the meeting about this. I'll just go, and he said, no, don't go to Cardinal Newman, don't go to Cardinal Newman. Which I kind of thought was funny, but I said, well, I'll check with them. And he kept insisting I not go to Cardinal Newman. And then as the people were ready to leave, because I still had the checks. And it's like, what? You still have the checks? And then several other people in the room said, we had this whole big blow up in the room about the money, and now you tell everybody you have the checks. So everybody kind of got, whoa. So during that, after the meeting, I sent him a text, and basically, just to confirm, you do have the checks for the Cardinal Newman Scholarship. And his reply was, yes, thanks. I said, okay, thank you. So, talking to Mark and Ed during the week, trying to track things down and what was going on about getting it, and I hadn't gotten any response. So I had sent Evan some texts, and
Sure. Go right ahead.
so on Thursday, September 12th, I sent him a text, said, "Good morning, I need to get those 2 checks from you." I didn't get a response. I had a finance meeting at St. Luke's. I sat on the head of that finance committee, and I saw Evans in the parking lot. So I pulled over and said he was there to pick up his wife, and it was raining. And I asked him, I said, I need to find out about getting the checks. And then he didn't say anything, he drove off. So, and I said to him, I'm not sure what you mean by you will find out about getting me the checks. So, this process, we were checking on things, and then I talked to Mark. Ed Manning, he was supposed to get with Ed, and Ed happened to tell Mark that one of the checks had already cleared the bank. And when Mark told me that, I said, so I went online and checked and found the check, it cleared the bank, and then went, whoa, Evan's name was written above Cardinal Newman.
So what check was that?
It was one of the scholarship checks,
Okay.
And it was for $10,000.
$10,000, okay.
So, and on the Friday the 13th, I had texted him, I said, I spoke with the finance department at Cardinal Newman. I need to get those checks from you today to get this situation resolved. I said, what time do you want to meet at St. Luke's? And his response was, good morning, brother. Listen, you don't need to give $2,500 for each. Nicholas family wants to save theirs for next year, and other to pay $5,000. If you want to fix it, just get $2,500 from Megan. That's all you need. You don't need those checks. Those 2 checks are not in question anymore. I have already voided them, right? And I said, thanks for responding. I don't understand your reluctance in getting the checks to me. That's fine if you voided checks. However, Ed is the one who should be voiding the checks. In order to get the new ones issued, I will need to get Ed those checks. He will need to keep them for bookkeeping purposes. The only other option is to put a stop payment on those checks, and I would like to avoid the costs of the council. In regards to the Ramos family, I was already aware of the situation. What time today can we meet at St. Louis to get the check? And I happened to see him outside St. Luke's that afternoon and asked him about the checks, and I was told, I don't want to give them to you. I would give them to Ed. And at that point in time, we were in school scouts. I found the voided checks. I went online, got the voided checks. We talked to Mark. We said so I called Father Andrew, set up meeting up with him, and the 3 of us talked and said we need to, report this. This is, when these things have been altered. The check was altered, and then the money hadn't gone. So we set a meeting. We went to the Palm Springs Police Department on that Saturday afternoon. Went to the Palm Springs Police Department, made the report. I've got the report number we did there. And reported it at that time.
I'm going to present a check to you here. I want you to take a good look at it and let me know if anything seems out of the ordinary. Okay?
The main things that's definitely out of the ordinary is above on the page of the order of line, it was written Cardinal Newman High School. Above that's written the name Evans Paul. And it's endorsed on the back of the check. And I'm not sure if the line through Edward's name is from the machine or not, but Evans' name is above that. And his name be written above on our council. Any checks are supposed to be written are supposed to be signed by the treasurer and the grand knight. I don't know if Evan's name was on the account at that time, and not to put have his name on the signature line, but to definitely having his name above Cardinal Newman is incorrect.
Okay.
And is endorsed on the back to him.
Okay. Okay. Are you familiar with Evans Paul's wife?
Yes, Violet.
Paul?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. All right. What's your position in the church?
I think in the church itself, I believe she's a Eucharistic minister, which means she helps pass out communion at communion time. She does also work at the school.
Okay.
She does work at the school.
Okay. And now her work is compensated?
I think her work in the school is compensated. Anything to do with the church is not.
Anything to do with the church is not okay. Do you know if she's involved, possibly, of what's going on with Evans Paul? Or?
I have no idea.
Okay. Has Evans Paul ever come up to you by chance and ever told you anything of distress, as in financial troubles or anything?
And to me personally, no.
Okay. And from your own personal belief or record, why would Evans Paul do anything like this?
I have no idea.
Okay.
I was totally shocked about this, and when I pulled up that check, and I was like, I think I texted Mark when I called him, like, you're not going to believe this. Here I'm thinking the whole time.
The Supreme Court held in Miranda versus Arizona SO that the rights to silence and to counsel must be explained before questioning. Paul answered, "Sure," when asked if he would speak, and that response began a valid waiver. Under Berghuis versus Thompkins, a suspect who understands his rights and then speaks voluntarily waives them by conduct. Silence is not waiver, but speaking is, so every statement Paul made became legally admissible. The detective arrived already holding Paul's bank records, which showed a negative balance before the deposit. Under United States versus Millet. Under United States belong to the bank, LeBase, and may be subpoenaed without a warrant or notice. Florida Statute, Section 812.014, defines theft as knowingly using another's property with intent to deprive. At $10,000, the offense is third-degree grand theft, a third-degree felony, punishable by up to 5 years. The second charge, uttering a forged instrument under Florida Statute, Section 831.02. Section a third-degree felony, carrying up to 5 years. Writing his name above the payee line and depositing the check satisfied both offenses. Paul admitted the acts, so the case turns on intent. Prosecutors rarely prove intent directly. They infer it from circumstantial evidence. 3 facts cut sharply against his claim that his purpose was entirely honest. So
I'm going to go to Newman and try to get the money back, and there's 10 grand's already gone, and we have someone else's names on the check. So it kind of was shocking.
Okay. And is there anything else that you would like to tell me that I haven't asked you, or anything that you'd like to say for the record?
When I started this whole program for the scholarship money, I felt we were doing something really good for kids and trying to help the kids. And, for me personally, it's got a point where I just felt like, how can we do something so good that people are making it, you'd feel so bad to do? It turns something like, it's almost like you don't even want to do it. And, I try, I sit there and pray to, we got to move forward and get this thing put to rest. And it just made a really good situation feel bad. And, I just sit there and I pray about it. Like, look, we need to keep doing this and moving on and not let something negative turn into bad. And we've done, I think, a really good job of trying to contain this and not let it get out. So everybody, because when tell this person, that next thing, we tried to, keep it a really close knit. At least I know Mark and I we haven't really talked about anybody about it, but hopefully, other people just trying to keep it a small number of people that understood this thing.
Please state your full name again.
Evans Paul.
Okay. Evans Paul, I'm going to read you your Miranda rights, okay? With you understanding your rights, are you willing to speak with me?
Sure.
Okay. So, Mr. Paul, okay, so this is obviously has to do reference of
Knight of Columbus.
Knight of Columbus, okay.
Yeah.
So you're okay. What is your role in the Knight of Columbus? Like, what are you reporting?
I mean, when that happened, I was a Grand Knight.
You're a Grand Knight, okay.
Yeah.
You're appointed a Grand Knight, okay.
Yes.
All right. Have you ever had a job in the church that you've ever been compensated for?
No.
No?
No.
It's been all volunteer?
I have been volunteer over there, yeah.
Okay. And how long have you been at the church, attending the church for?
It's been since 1999.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah, that's right, around 25, 26 years.
Okay. And during the time around July of last year when you became the Grand Knight, there's an incident that occurred, okay? Reference, I guess, they had a meeting?
Yes.
And there was a discrepancy.
Yes.
Reference funds. Yeah, can you explain, like, what that discrepancy was?
Yes, so what happened is this was like after, when you get night, the treasurer, everybody, when there is something, they need to talk to you.
Okay.
So usually I used to pick up my wife because she always done at 6 o'clock after care.
Okay.
So when I went there to pick up my wife, and then I went to sit. There is a bulletin by Family Life, so I went to sit there. And then there's like some Haitian on Friday. We have Haitian prayer, so they know me. I've been been sitting there talking to them. And then Ed, his discretion. Ed came. He was like, "Hey, Evans, I really want to talk to you. They tell me you're here." I was like, "Okay, what happened? What's going on?" He was like, "There's something I really want to talk to you about because now you're getting night." I said, "What happened?" He was like, "Listen, we've been collecting money as a donation for scholarship. It's been 3 years. Like, they make a picture with the people for the donation, but they never give the money." I mean, soon he tell me that, that's like, click on my mind. If you're getting people donation for something, you should give that money out. Especially you stand up in the church, you make a picture with those people, everybody sees like they're going to have a scholarship, and then they never receive the money. I was like, okay, just tell me what happened. And then when he tells me, they never give the money for 3 years. It's been past 3 years. So as I'm getting nice, so he needs my help. I was like, what kind of help you need? He was like, we need to give the scholarship. I was like, do you have anybody? And then he bring me like a bulletin with the person name and everything. I was like, okay, those 2 girls, I know them, so I can talk to them. I was like, as the people said, they have a scholarship for 4 years, so that's been $2,500 each year. So there's gonna be $10,000 by person is going to be to do with $20,000. So I tell them, this is what we're gonna do because my kids over there to at that school, Caledonia. So what we do, we pay the tuition online, like in the website called Fax. I tell them like, this is what we're going to do. I can just get the money, and then I put the money in my account. I can go to FAC, just contact those parents, get the information, and then make the payment online. He was like, if it's as soon as you can do it, help me out, that will be fine. I said, okay. So he went to his car, he went home. He wrote the check, but he wrote the check back home. But I think he's gonna come with the check. I can tell him like, just put my name on it because I already tell him I will just deposit the check. That way I can make the payment online. So what he said was like, okay, so now you get 9. You don't have time. I never have time. So he said, you don't have time to go to the bank with me to put your name in the account. So you will get 9 anyway. So just sign on the top. He gave me the pen. He was like, sign on the top of my signing. Put your name. That's not going to be a problem. So I take the check. I hold the checks for 2 weeks because I need to find out, like, with the parents first. So how much money, because you don't get only one scholarship. The school give you scholarship and everything. So I just want to see how much the difference, if it's higher than $2,500 a year or if it's less. But myself, if it's less, I will give them the rest of the money because $2,500 is belong to them every year. Right? So, okay. So after talk to the parents, when parents tell me, Evans, I don't have no balance because we have a Spanish scholarship I got, so can I use that money next year? I said, yes, next year you can have 5,000 next year. But there is one of them, when I do event, like selling tickets and everything, she always help me out, selling tickets for me and everything at the church, right? So I really need to give her that money. And then she hold the school, $2,300 some dollars. So and then we have a scholarship for $2,500 for her. Her name is Kelly. So I always promise her, so we're gonna get the money, So after that, I went to my bank. It was 2 checks, $20,000 to do. I deposited 1 check for $10,000. So I tell her like, this is a scholarship checks from Net of Columbus. So I'm going to give to Cardinal Women. So the check deposit. So they said the check's going, I think like the first date was September 5th, something like that. The check's going. But the girls keep asking me, Evans, when you gonna pay and everything. We always text. I said, the check is not clear yet. I'm waiting for the check to be clear. That way I can pay it for you. Right? So after that, we're gonna have a meeting. So I'm the one that hosts the meeting and everything. If I have to ask questions, I can. So by the time in the meeting, you need to give report, right? The treasurer didn't show up. The guy that I'm dealing with in that problem, he didn't show up, but he said, Evans, I will send the report, the people what happened, and then you will talk about it. I said, okay. So when the report come up, I read the report, there's like $20,000 check. But the money is not out yet from the account. But we see there's $20,000 check out for the scholarship, all right? And then there is a guy named Wabbit Mariscale. He just stood up, says like, oh no, there is no money, we cannot give any scholarship without me and this and that. That pissed me off because I knew things he didn't know. Because I was like, listen, dude, it's been like 3 years. You keep making picture with people. You said you're going to give scholarship. You never gave it. So now I'm the get mad. So I'm responsible to give those people the scholarship. Because I know you want to use the money for your own gain. Because lately he came with few other guys from north that moving down here. They're talking about they put that money in like what we call a market. You know, they're gonna use it for like market, so to make benefits out of it. So which is, I said, no, you can't do that because the money is donation, it's free for the scholarship. So now you guys wanna use the money, it's in the market, all right? So I always against that. And then after that, I was like, after the meeting done, we always eat after the meeting. My wife always like give me food for everybody to eat. Just, I call him, I said like, listen,
Who'd you call? Who'd you call?
Wabbit.
Okay.
Yeah, he was the one that we discussed. I was like, listen, that's the way I am. Dude, I don't want you to think like I have a personal problem with you. So I'm sorry if I say something that offend you. So I'm sorry about it. And then we done, we start talking and everything. But by tomorrow, I receive a text from him. I need the checks.
Yes.
I didn't even answer. Believe me, I didn't answer.
Yeah, I saw the text messages.
Yeah, because I didn't like have any. I didn't take any checks from you, so why you ask me for checks? So at 3 o'clock, at around 5 something, I went to pick up my wife. He knew I would be there, so he was waiting in the parking lot. He came next to my car. He says like, Evans, can you give me the checks? I would tell him like, listen, dude, I don't have any checks for you. Did I get any checks from you? No. If I have to give checks, I will give it to the person that give it to me. All right? So okay. And then, like I told you, I already tell the bank, so, the scholarship will cancel. I don't want to get involved anymore. So, can you send the money back to TD Bank? That way, I don't have anything to see with that. So, the bank tried to tell me, so the TD Bank need to request the money. So, what I did, I call Ed, he's the treasurer. I tell Ed, like, can you meet with me at Wawa? So, we meet at Wawa in Belvedere because I'm living in Wawa, Palm Beach. So I was with my daughter, and then we went there, we talked about it and everything, and then he was like, okay, it looked like they called me Evans, but I don't call them back because I didn't know what they're talking about. I was like, yeah, they want you to go to TD Bank, request the money back, and then we're done with it. So it's been like time passed because I never talk to nobody. I don't even feel to go to the meeting anymore. But I call my assistant, it's Sally.
First, his account was already started when a $10,000 was already overdrawn when a $10,000 in a facial check landed in it. Second, he hid the deposit for weeks while attending meetings where those very missings discussed. Third, he repeatedly told the trustee not to contact Cardinal Newman to confirm delivery. In fraud cases, that behavior is called consciousness of guilt, and courts treat it as circumstantial evidence of criminal intent. His authorization defense that the treasurer told him to sign could negate intent if proven. But the claim is uncorroborated. Every witness denied it, and counsel rules require dual signatures, a control Paul bypassed entirely. The detective also hinted that honesty could help Paul before a judge. Under Colorado versus Connolly, a confession is involuntary only when official conduct overbears the will. This fell short of coercion, but added appellate risk. Notably, the detective made no false statement of fact to obtain admissions. Such deception is permitted under Frazier versus Cupp, though many states now restrict it, wary that trickery can corrode the reliability of confessions. The detective earns an A-. A clean Miranda waiver and evidence-led confrontation with a small deduction for the leniency language. Evans Paul earns a C, admitting the acts but offering an uncorroborated intent defense.
Sally Sullivan is my assistant. I called him. I explained to him the situation, what happened and everything. So I was like, I don't tell anybody. So if, anyone come to tell you whatever, you will know or tell you, right? And then after that, so one Sunday I went to church. And then Father and Joe, so we have a good relationship. He was like, Evans, I'm the one that doing our share at the church at 9 o'clock mass. He was like, Evans, I want to talk to you after mass done. I was like, here Father in your office. He was like, no, just why he will talk. And then when I done, I said, Father, I'm finished. So we went to the back room. on the left side. He was like, listen, they tell me something about the check and this and that. But when they tell me that, they said they already make a police report. But we have what we call a district deputy. And then they already tell the district deputy about it. They asked me to ask you to step down. So I was like, that's all you want to say? He says, yes, I'm finished. I said, okay. I didn't say nothing else. I said, okay. But since he says that, the reason why I pissed off, because all of them, they're always happy to see me, talk to me and everything. So if something happened like this, so you guys already make a police report, so no one call me, talk to me about it. No one wants to know what I think. So why? Because black people always like, they steal it, you know? So I didn't say anything at all. I just like, forget it. Okay. So now what I did, I was waiting. But now I have to deal with the bank and the treasurer. So I called the treasurer. I said, like, listen, did you make the request for the money? He said, yes, Evans, I did. I was like, okay, let me find out with the bank. When I called the bank said, Evans, the other bank made the request for the money, but there is something called investigation. They're making me out with the check, so we cannot release the money until the investigation done. I was like, that's all I want to know. So I'm waiting for an investigation to be done. Like I tell you guys, just send that money back. I wanna be finished with everything. That's it.
How long ago was that?
It was back when. It can be back in November, around November or December. I don't really remember the date.
But is that normal practice though? Is that normal practice?
Oh yeah, of course.
No, for somebody to take the Knight of Columbus check and put it in their own bank account?
If it's not,
is that normal? Like, do all the Grand Knights do that?
Listen, let me tell you what happened. You know, when you just get Knight, nobody tells you anything.
Okay.
You need to listen to the treasurer only, because the treasurer taking care of the money.
Okay.
He's the one that is responsible. Soon you get Knight, he's the one that go to the bank with you, add your name in the bank account. So he was the one that, like I tell you, giving the check, says, Evan, you can sign it at you can sign right here because you're getting Knight right now. So like you said, you need 10,000 to pick the scholarship. So yes, this is the way it is.
What happened if Ed said that's not true? He told you to not put your name like that on the check.
Who, Ed?
Yeah.
Yeah, but Ed can say whatever he wants. Because like I tell you, yes, Ed was the one that gave me the pen, says like sign right here.
And said you could put it in your own.
That's correct, just to do the payment online. Because I already clear with him. That's how we make payment.
What payment online?
It was like the scholarship payment for the parents.
But why would it come from your bank account? That's why I'm kind of confused. It doesn't.
Because like to make the payment online, you need to pay the money. It's supposed to come from my account because I'm the one that making the payment.
But after you deposited the check, why did you not tell anybody that you put it in your account and then you'd be paying for it through online?
Like anybody, like who?
I know you're the Grand Knight, but you got to tell, because you have meetings every quarter, every month, don't you know they will see that money missing? Like, how can we let the people know before?
No. Like I tell you, whoever knows, Ed was the only one that know.
Okay.
Because when we did the meeting, the first meeting we did after the check, the check wasn't deposited yet. You remember I tell you that? I said we did the meeting, and then we talk about the check, the report. There is a 2 check that's right for $20,000 scholarship. And then that's how we're going to have the problem. Because he doesn't want $20,000 get out at once, but he wants to give $2,500 a year.
Yeah.
So that the most money that's supposed to get out is like $5,000.
Yeah.
So so that's it.
But why would you do, if you know that that's going to be a problem, why would you do $20,000?
I didn't know if it was going to be a problem. I didn't know that.
You just said that they want to be 20.
Exactly, they want that after, before.
Yeah.
The check was right before the meeting.
But it's always been like that. I was talking to the other Grand Knights in the past, including Mark. And he said that it's always been $2,500 increments ever since they started, and he created it because it was both Mark and Robert that created this scholarship. So basically, you decided upon yourself that you're gonna take that money, deposit it, and then pay them regardless.
No, he was gonna. This is the reason why I deposited only 1 check, because the other girl for this year she didn't have any balance. It's only one girl that have balance $2,300.
Okay.
So basically, after I paid that $2,300, whatever that's left over to make it like $2,500, But I was not gonna do that. I was gonna give the total, pay the balance and then give it the total 14,000 for the 4 years.
Okay,
but which is the one that.
But then you attempted to submit another check for 10,000, right?
Submit what?
You tried to get another check for 10,000, right?
No. Those 2 checks was at the same time. The same time, the same minutes.
Okay, which is 20,000.
Exactly.
I know, but why would you do another $10,000 check?
Because it's for 2 people.
Okay. Pick up the paper. And show me.
Evans Paul.
Okay. And then you wrote up top.
Yeah.
Do you normally do that?
Yeah.
Do you normally do that?
Who?
So is that normal for you?
No. When I did that, when I was with Ed, I tell you, when I wasn't with Ed, I did that.
When you wasn't with Ed?
When I was with Ed,
okay.
I said, look, when he gave me the check.
Okay.
Yes.
And Ed told you to do that?
Ed was the one that gave me the pen, says Evans, sign on the top of my name, and then you can deposit it. Yes, it was Ed that gave me the pen.
Unfortunately, listen, the biggest problem that we have here is the check, period.
Yes.
Okay. The check of $10,000, okay? Unfortunately, we can't go by hearsay, okay? We don't have no proof that Ed or this person or any person told you to put their name across and deposit it in your bank account, okay? From what I see now is, listen, everybody has issues, especially the economy. A lot of things are crazy expensive, this and that, whatever. You know, even myself, the same things I bought at Costco used to be $400, now they're $800, you know? Everybody's going through a headache. Everybody's going through something, all right? But again, I'm trying to help you out the best I can, okay? I need you to be honest with me, because at the end of the day, what you did is illegal.
Okay.
You cannot forge your check.
Okay.
Okay. You can't put your across from anything, and you can't deposit it in your account. Period.
Yeah.
Because it didn't happen like that before. It wasn't like that.
It's really stupid. I mean, it's the problem is I am the one that's stupid. I should not accept him tell me to put my name. I can do that. Yeah.
Oh.
But if he said no, that is set up. But he knew that's going to be happen because you said he said no.
Again, I cannot take your word versus his word or hearsay, but all I know is all I have is the evidence.
Yeah.
It's your signature, which you just said.
Yes.
You notice a check.
Yeah.
You are obviously going inside, talking to Taylor and depositing it. Okay.
Yes. No, this was in the drive-through.
I'm just saying.
Okay.
Okay. Doing a drive-through, depositing it, and it going to your account. Okay. And unfortunately, your account was already negative. Okay, why there was as soon as you dropped it, there was $73 missing, and that's why it went down to $9,926.03. So, you know, it doesn't look good when I could pull your account and I could see all these overdraft and negative. You know, like I said, you know, it's hard or whatever. So it looks like, you know, you had the intent to possibly do this to maybe help yourself and your family, because obviously you got kids, you got whatever, and then you're going to pay the money back or quickly do what you had to do, that's a different case if you had the permission to do that.
Okay.
As of right now, the people that I spoke to, the people I interviewed, the people that sworn and said that's a practice that's never been done, and nobody gave the permission to do that. So that's the issue that we have here. Okay? Now, I'm trying to help you to help me out, and you need to tell me the truth, why you did what you did, so I could then maybe tell a judge later or so-and-so or whatever to be like, hey, listen, Evans Paul was honest, he's not a bad guy, we're not looking for him to go to jail or do this or do that. You get what I'm saying?
Yes, let me tell you, like I tell you, I didn't do that because I need the money.
Okay.
I already tell you the truth.
Okay.
I did that just to help Kelly to pay the scholarship. I didn't do it because I need the money to use for myself.
Okay.
No, that wasn't my scholarship. You know, that was me. Woman said, like, I see they give you the scholarship, so you help me out selling the ticket and everything, so I will do the best I can just to pay the balance for you. You know? Yes, this is the reason why, like I tell you, we take 2 times 10,000 for 4 years for those 2 parents. That's it. No. But if I need like to steal the money, I will deposit both checks. I had both checks in my head. So why you don't have the copy in the other one? They tell you it was like $20,000? No,
I have. What happened was the other one wasn't deposited like this one.
Oh, okay.
This one basically got cleared. That's why they were able to take the $73 from the first.
No, it wasn't clear anyway, you know.
I get it, but what I'm just saying is it went to your account.
Exactly.
Okay, so if it went to your account, that means it was clear to your account. You made up that.
Oh yes, I understand.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then when it was found, Robert told me that he had access to that check because it was made for the night in Columbus. He's the one that stopped it, and that's why you have a problem of it retrieving back right now because it's referenced this investigation. So Robert was the one that initially stopped the check.
That's not true. Yes.
That's what I...
Yeah, that's not true.
Okay.
Yes.
He says, and then obviously it did not help when he's trying to talk to you, and then you're ignoring him.
No,
about the check.
No.
The text message, and then he went to go meet you at obviously at the church when you picked up your wife.
Yes.
And he just sped off on him and what?
No, I didn't sped off on him. I just put my window down. I said I get the checks from you. So if I have to return the checks, I will return it to the person that give it to me. That's what I said.
So you're saying you have no
intention to steal the money for myself. No, that's why they want.
And you have no you have no problems with your money as of right now.
No, as of right now, by the time I'm talking to you right now, nah.
Like it's parable to Cardinal Newman, right?
Of course.
By Ed to Treasurer, right?
No.
But why would it?
Listen, the account itself, that's the name of the account.
Robert. The fund trustee earns an A. He caught the discrepancy in real time, preserved a documented trail of messages, sought internal resolution before calling police, and gave investigators a clear, consistent sworn account. Lesson 1. Dual authorization controls are not bureaucracy. They are protection. No title, tenure, or reputation should ever replace financial controls, because trust is precisely the door through which insiders bypass them. Lesson 2. Verbal authorization is not authorization. If someone tells you to alter a check or move organizational money into a personal account, get it in writing, signed and witnessed first. An undocumented claim is not a defense. Lesson 3. The third-party doctrine reaches everywhere your money travels. Bank records, transaction history, and overdraw logs can be subpoenaed without your knowledge, and documented financial distress can prove motive. Lesson 4. Consciousness of guilt is evidence. Discouraging verification. Ignoring accountability messages, and claiming checks admissible at trial as proof you knew the conduct was wrong. Lesson 5. Miranda is not a technicality. It is a lifeline. Paul waived his rights and spent an hour explaining himself, and every word was recorded for court. Under pressure, most people say too much, so invoke it every time.
Yes.
Itself.
Yes.
Yes, that's the name of the account.
I understand that.
Yes.
Wouldn't that make sense to go to that fund and then later be paid out of there?
Of course.
For tax purposes.
Of
or
course.
any type of purposes.
Yes, of
or
course.
receipt purposes, right?
Yes,
Since
of
it's
course.
enough for profit.
But to pay it online too, you will have all those things. You will have your receipt and everything.
Okay.
Because lately,
But you could do it from that account. It doesn't have to go from your personal account.
I mean, at that time, I didn't think about it. Because me, when I'm making a payment for myself, my kids is in school over there. That's what I did. I just go online, made it. These days when I contact the parents to get the account information, just do it online. That's what, at that time, that's all I was thinking at that time.
Okay, which was not very smart. Do we both agree with that?
Yes, but with the technology, nobody drives to go anywhere. You just sit home, put your cell phone, you go online, you do whatever you have to. That's what I was thinking at that time. But like you said, was it smart,
No, it wasn't. What you're not agreeing with me with, and we're not going to go around in circles, all right, is the fund is made for that $2,500.
Yes.
It's never taken in a lump sum of 10. All right, just hear me out. It's never taken in a lump sum of 10, okay? The reason for it is because the $10,000 is the maximum they can get, right?
Yeah, for 4 years.
Yes, okay, I understand that, for 4 years. All right, so the reason for that is, just like you said, if they left school or their grades are not kept up or any of that issue, then you're not out of all that money. It's already taken out and they can stay in the account and maybe gross more money or whatever percent, whatever is left in the account to continue growing or yielding or whatever, what have you.
Yes.
Okay? You took upon yourself, all right, as the Grand Knight to take that check and deposit it.
Yes.
Yes, all right. We could agree on that, okay? Then you proceeded, whether you, like you said, which was stupid or not stupid, or Ed said you could do this or not, wrote your name up top of Cardinal Newman and then scratched out Ed's name and wrote your name and then deposited the check?
No. I didn't scratch.
Okay,
I don't
you
know.
put a line
if the
out,
copy.
whatever.
No. But if you see that line, that wasn't me. No, probably I don't know if the copy. No, I didn't put
Okay,
it right.
but you wrote your name above this signature.
That's correct. Yes.
Okay.
With Ed. Yes.
Okay, and then you deposited the check.
Yes.
What I'm telling you is that doesn't make sense because it's not supposed to be like that. You took that upon yourself.
Yes, exactly.
Your
That's
initiative to do that.
My responsibility. Yes.
Okay. So right now, unfortunately, I do believe that you did have maybe malice intent of basically stealing all that money, but what you did is wrong. Period.
Okay.
Do you understand that?
Yes.
Okay. You cannot write your name over a check and you cannot sign your name.
Okay.
All right. So as of right now, what you're looking at as being charged is grand theft
Okay.
of $10,000 and uttering a forged instrument, which is a check. Okay. Those are 2 felonies. Okay. I try to help you out. I'm not saying that, I'm not saying that you did anything wrong or anything like that, but you're not helping yourself. If you told me you had financial problems, this is why you did this, you weren't thinking, and then you later pay back this and that, whatever. But I can't force you to say anything.
Listen, I could only look at what I have, which is the proof here of all your statements, and looking at all the overdraft fees and all the unpaid balances and certain things that you have here, your suspended license. And, that's all I could go by, which is the actual evidence. I will never tell you yes.
That's fine.
That's what I have on my intention, just to steal the money. No, that wasn't.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
It's not a volunteer position. He was a grant night.
A grant night, yeah, but
Grant night.
the grant night doesn't get paid though. It's not a
Doesn't
pay.
get paid. They give the money. Like he don't spend those like a scholarship to give to the school to the kids.
Oui.
Was at St. Luke. They go into Newman.
Oui, yeah.
They won't give him the check. His name is on it too. He asked my husband for help. Like they always give the scholarship, they never give it to the kids. And then now has a grant night. Now I need your help. Even he tell my husband to sign his name in the top. Okay, my husband just
Quem não quis isso?
the one who
Ed?
Ed.
Okay, but Munio Pachi says.
Ed. That hurt my feeling.
I hear you, but
as you serving God,
no, of course.
you don't put people in trouble for that. You don't deserve to get arrested for that. And I'm going to file the angel to the police.
You guys speak so, yeah?
Yeah, I'm going to the police. I've been at St. Luke since 26 years.
Yeah, you did him so, yeah.
My son, I get married there. We helping. I used to be altar server coordinator. I'm working at this school.
Yeah. It's embarrassing. No,
It's embarrassing.
Yeah.
He don't deserve that. He's helping. I'm going to ask the parents. I tell you that. I'm going to ask the parents to involve in that. He have all the texting. All the text.
Yeah.
He's going to pay the scholarship for the kids. I'm struggling. I don't use people. We don't steal.
Yeah,
We don't steal. I know you're doing your job.
The life is hard. I
The life is hard.
Yeah.
If I explain to you my life, I stand after care. We don't steal.
I hear you. Listen, like you said, I'm just doing my job.
You're doing your job. You're doing your job. Well, when my husband tell me that, I say if I can't sue him, I will sue him. Yeah, I will sue him. He just working 7 to 7. He don't even get home. When he tell me that, I don't even eat my lunch. They come home with my food.
I understand.
He don't deserve to get arrested.
I appreciate it.
That's why they did to me. No, I'm crying because you don't deserve that. You don't deserve that. That's why they did to me. Tomorrow I'm going to talk to Father Andrew.
You don't need to talk to nobody. Don't talk to nobody.
I'm going there.
No, you don't need to talk to nobody.
I'm going there.
So listen.
Where is going now? Where is going?
He's gonna go to the gun club. Okay, I just wanted to say hi, bye, and then his cell phone, and
I already told them I'm going to meet with the police, so tell them things are going.
Managers and how I want
Tell them everything will be okay. Tell nobody, don't cry, okay?
you can sit. I'm still gonna finish doing something real quick. Okay.
I love you.
Give me a second. You tell me, don't say anything.
No, don't say anything.
No, I have to go to see Father Andrew.
No, you don't need to say anything.
Whatever you.
He's in charge. He's the priest in charge there.
Sabe que Deus deve ver Deus mais galera. Mas para isso que eu já aider, ok? Avec l'église là. Alright. But I'm just doing my job.
I know you're doing your job. You don't deserve that. Ed need to come too. Ed.
Alright, that's fine.
All right, go ahead. Good night. Ishmael and tell him so.
And you know what? I'm gonna call Megan's mom too. I'm gonna tell them.
Yeah, Megan's mom you can tell her.
I'm gonna tell
Because
them.
that's what I tell him. I tell him I do that for Megan's mom. Yeah, tell her like I get arrested because they said I steal the
I
money.
have my kids at human too.
Yes, I know.
I don't even
He took him to Baghdad.
I
Yeah.
even bah chambre beaucoup même si payer l'école petite.
comprends.
Si m'tapon là, j'aime taper l'école petite.
Oui, d'accord, on comprend ça.